the simplest ways to get into phenomenal shape and completely transform your life. That's what I'm going to talk about the next 4 days. So I'm going to do a segment of this. So I'm going to start with conditioning, cardio, overall health. We're going to go into nutrition. Then we're going to go into food, weight training, and then we'll go into mindset overall. Next 4 days. It'll be about 10 minutes each. So if you can give me 40 minutes of your life, I am going to break it down in the most simplest possible ways how to completely, and I do mean completely, transform your life, your health, your fitness. So let's start at the beginning. Conditioning. Now, I always think that this is one of the most underrated ways to build aerobic capacity, to build strength, to build endurance, to burn fat, all these kinds of things. And there's double whammies that you can, double down on these things if you want to. But if you've watched any of my videos, you're also going to know what I'm going to say. Straight off the bat, the simple answer is weighted walks. And people poo-poo and they think that they try and overcomplicate things and they try and add things to it and you need all this stuff. Honestly, it is the simplest answer. And I'm going to break it down into as I said, I want to make this simple. I want to make this fast. I want to not take up too much of your time. So here it is. Pick a weight that is 10% of your body weight. So scales to whoever you are. Obviously, if you're bigger, the weight's already going to be harder, but you just start at 10%. 10% of your body weight. You can use a weight vest. You can use a backpack. You can use a rucking pack. You can use kettlebells. You can use dumbbells. I don't care what methodology you use. My preference is I bought a pack. Well, when I first started, I literally just bought a weight vest from Kmart and started from there. Okay? So you can use whatever method you want to use, but that'll work just fine. Or recently I bought a backpack off Temu for like $15. Look, it's not the greatest thing under the sun, but it does the job. And I put a 10 kilo plate in it. We don't have to buy super expensive equipment. You can buy things secondhand off Facebook Marketplace. You could fill it with books. You could fill it with sand. You could fill it with anything you want. There are ways to figure this the fuck out for real cheap if you want. The weight vests from Kmart are like, I think they're $35. But people want to overcomplicate things. They want to make it difficult. It isn't difficult. You are just making it difficult. So there you have it. Get 10% of your body weight. It can be a bit more, it can be a little bit under, but I would suggest 10% or more. Load up, set a timer on your phone for 22 and a half minutes. Go out as hard as you can. And then when the timer goes off, turn around and come back. As I said, simple as fuck. This isn't rocket science. This isn't overly complex. This isn't anything that's insane. Now, if you can track it I used to use an Oura ring or a fitness tracker, or you can just measure it using your car or, your phone. It'll track it for you as well. But the idea is to reach 4.5 kilometers in 45 minutes. So that's the 22 and a half. That's what you want to get to. When you reach 4.5 kilometers, you then increase the weight. And lo and behold, you have a forever progressive overload. And people are like, oh, well, what if you reach a certain weight? Look, I'm at the point where it's 40 kilos that I'm utilizing on my big walks. That's when you start getting into issues on weight loading on the shoulders and the back and things like that. Most people aren't going to reach that point anytime soon. So let's not stress about problems that are future problems. You're going to get into great fucking shape. You're going to get into big changes in your life well before we reach that point. Okay? Hell, I met the guy who, on the weekend at the Fitness Expo, who's created the company Go Ruck Australia. Awesome dude. Really, really liked him. And they're still they're packs and things are maxing out at 20 kilos, and they're creating them for the fireys anyway. So we've got plenty of leeway room before we get into things that are really going to be an issue. So start with that. I promise you that this methodology alone, if you execute it properly, and the execution is the timer, the weight must be 10% or more, and the effort that you put in. We're not going for a casual stroll. We are fucking getting out and getting after it. But if you do this, I promise you, you will drop weight. Your body fat will go down like no tomorrow. Your endurance will go up. Your conditioning will go up. Your strength will go up. All of these kinds of things will go up. And I had a guy trying to argue with me about this the other day. But go read the Go Ruck white papers. It covers all of it. This is what the military use. This is what the fireys use. This is what the police academy use. Like, there is loads of evidence for it. And even if you don't want to go down that path, just fucking give it a go and see. This is the only conditioning that I use. I don't run. I don't do sprint training. I don't even do HIIT training. I don't do any of these kinds of things. This is all I use for conditioning. And I'm incredibly fit. When I play basketball, I am nearly always the fittest on the court. Nearly every single time. That's the only time I run, is when I play basketball, once a week. And for your average guy, this is gonna get a shit ton done for you. It's going to build the capacity and everything that you want. And it's just about consistency. Now, I do this every single day. Every single day. I promise you, if you do this, this will have a huge impact on your health, your fitness, your body fat percentage, all of it. You'd be shocked. Now, if you want to ramp it up even more, the other options you can add into it is that you do it after your biggest meal of the day. Look, if you want to take it to the whole nother level, you could do 15 minutes of weighted carry walk after every single meal. That would be fucking diabolical level. Let's get some results. Like, truly would make a massive difference for you. But what it does is, if you go straight after a meal, it curbs the insulin spike. It allows you to utilize the energy even more. You utilize the food and the digestion of it straight away. There's a whole series of things after it. But another great option. So 15 minutes of a weighted walk at a decent clip. If you did that plus the 45 minutes every day, that alone would be diabolical. You do that, give it 6-8 weeks, I promise you, you will see an incredible difference in who you are as a man, in your endurance, in your fitness, in your health, in your aerobic capacity, in the man in the mirror. As I said, I want to make this as simple as humanly possible. People want to complicate it. The things that you require to get incredible results is simple and effective, done consistently with intensity and effort. That's it. So this is my prescription for this. This will jack it up. And as I said, if you've watched my stories before, I came up with this concept before I'd even heard of Go Rucking, which I always find fascinating on this one. I came up with this idea because I knew bodybuilders used to utilize this to prevent weight loss plateaus, like body fat plateaus. Because the cruel irony of it is, when you start to lose weight, your body weight goes down. And so when that happens is, well, your metabolism actually goes down as well, because your metabolism is based on total body mass. And so one of the ways they used to get around this fact was bodybuilders preparing for shows would wear weight vests around the house when they're doing just simple everyday things. So it increases their the perception of their body weight, and they continue to burn fat. I had a guy try and argue that it's about total body mass, not weight loaded on you, and I was like, that's a stupid fucking thing. It's not true. This will do it. There's, as I said, you can read the Go Ruck white papers, you can read, there is just consistent evidence on how beneficial this type of training is. on you, especially if you then do it every single day. But I promise you, you do this, your metabolism will go up, you'll burn more body fat, you'll do it. And as I said, I was using it as that method just to kind of raise my metabolism as I was dropping body fat and getting leaner, and I didn't want my fat loss to slow down. We told a mate about it, and he was like, oh, you mean rucking? I was like, what the fuck is rucking? Look it up, and I was like blown away by how much research has gone into it and how effective it is, and how the army put in studies to find out the optimal leverage point, and they discovered anything up to, I think it was something crazy like 80 pounds will deliver incredible results. Anything over that then starts to have diminished results for their purposes, which is basically the guys were getting too fatigued and they weren't able to show up for, military purposes. But for you, there's still limits. You can still gain benefits from that. You just can't do it every day. That's when you'll start to get diminishing returns. So when you reach a level that you've actually gotten to a high enough point, like myself, I up and down scales. So some days I'll use the 40 kilos, some days it's 30, some days I go all the way back down to 10. And I just crank it out on those days. I just push the pace. But on the days when it's 40, it's a slog, and I'm just out there and I'm just moving. It depends on where you're at. But if you're just starting out, let's go back to the beginning, because I want to wrap this up. I don't want you to give you over too much time on this. 10% of your body weight, 22 and a half minutes out, 22 and a half minutes back. If you exceed 4.5 kilometers, increase the weight. Do this every single day. Want to crank it up even further? Make it after a meal, or you can add a 15-minute version of this after every meal plus the 45 minutes. You'll be a different human being in no time flat, and you'll be shocked at how much of an effect that has on you. So there you have it. Simple, straightforward, really basic, but it requires consistency, intensity, and effort. The question is, do you have what that takes? If you do, I've just given you the keys to the kingdom. Now, come back tomorrow, because I'm going to talk about nutrition. The next day, I'm going to talk about weight training, and the day after that, I'm going to talk about the mindset that comes with all of it. But that's all I have for you. Keep demanding greatness, and I'll be back again soon.